Well, hello and welcome back to Set Your Mind on Things Above. Well, all the videos I make are personal to me, but this one especially hits home for me. It's a personal struggle I've had in my own life, but by the grace of God and renewing my mind to His Word, I'm able to make this video. You see, there comes a moment in life where you realize that holding tighter isn't making anything safer. In fact, sometimes the tighter we grip, the more anxious, exhausted, and confused we become. And today, I want to talk to you about letting go. And not because it's easy, not because it doesn't hurt, but because sometimes letting go is the most faithful thing we can do. As we know from 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. There are situations, there are relationships, there are people that we love deeply, maybe sometimes even more deeply than we ever realized. And without meaning to, we start trying to manage outcomes, we try to read signals, we try to interpret behaviors, we try to protect ourselves while still hoping things will change. And somewhere along the way, we confuse control with care. And as Proverbs 12:25 says, an anxious heart weighs a man down, but a kind word cheers him up. Well, here is the hard truth that I've been learning myself. God never asked me to control what I love. He asked me to trust Him with it. Because anything I try to control, I eventually shrink. But anything I surrender to God, He can redeem, grow, heal, or release in ways that I never could. As the famous Proverb 3:5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. You see, for a long time, I thought staying alert meant staying loving. I thought watching closely, thinking deeply, and holding on carefully was the same as being faithful. But it wasn't peace and it wasn't freedom. It was honestly fear wearing the disguise of responsibility. As 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. But please know this, letting go is not abandoning someone. Letting go is refusing to play God in their life. Be still and know that I am God. When we refuse to let go, we're often saying, God, I don't trust you with this yet. Not because we don't believe in Him, but because we're afraid of what surrender might cost us. And as Jesus famously said, which of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? This is so important. Most people don't know this. At least most people I've run into don't know that the serenity prayer we most oftenly hear today is actually not the full serenity prayer. Most of us know, God grant me the serenity for the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And then that stops right there. But actually, the full serenity prayer was based on the Bible, and I'm going to read it right now. And this is where it stopped being words for me and actually became a lifeline. So this is it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as the pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. See, that prayer doesn't say, God, fix this how I want. It says, God, I trust you even if the outcome looks different than I imagine. And as God said, as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. But here is the surprising thing that I've discovered. Letting go did not make me love less. It actually made me love more. Because when I stopped trying to manage someone, interpret someone, or protect myself through control, I was finally free to love them without expectations attached. And that is real love. As we know from Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind, it is not self-seeking. And if the person I'm talking about ever hears this, I don't need to explain every detail. I would just say this. I am so truly sorry it took me so long to give this fully to God. Not because I didn't care, because I cared so deeply that I thought I had to carry it myself. And as Jesus said, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I don't have to carry it anymore. What I couldn't heal, what I couldn't fix, what I couldn't make clear, I place in God's hands because He loves them far more than I ever could. And He loves me enough to not let me drown in what I was never meant to control. And as Jesus promised, being confident of this, that He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. This is so important to know that letting go is not losing. It's trusting. It's saying, God, you can do far more with my surrender than I ever could do with my striving. And today, that's enough. And as we know from Ephesians, now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. So if you love someone or something so much that you feel like if you give up on it, that you've lost this battle, I beseech you with all that's in me, give it up. Surrender, because God can do far more with your surrender than you could ever do by striving. God bless you. Let us set our minds on things above together. And I hope to see you in the next.